Iman Gadzhi is one of the most successful finance YouTubers of 2022. He's recently exploded all over social media and has become notorious for an e-commerce agency.
So look, I've made tens of millions of dollars by the age of 22, and I've also spent millions of dollars just on my personal life.
His recent growth has also gotten the attention of several celebrities, and his business is booming more than ever. So, what's the real story behind Iman Gadzhi? Is he really a high school dropout turned millionaire? Well, in this video, we'll cover Iman's rise to success and all the methods that he used to climb himself to the top. Iman is a 22-year-old YouTuber who specializes in social media marketing. He currently owns his own marketing agency known as IAG Media and has founded GrowYourAgency.com. Iman isn't new to YouTube and was originally uploading fitness videos back in 2016. Now, despite what you may think, Iman wasn't born into wealth. He lived alone with his mother in less than ideal conditions and watched her balance 2 jobs. Seeing his mother struggle to take care of him really had an impact on Iman's growth. He disliked the idea that he was too young to work and could only stand by and watch his mom struggle. Since he didn't have the money, he wasn't able to afford the things that he liked. One of his favorite things to do was read books, but he could only do it at the library. Iman was also known as a bit of a loner at school, since he prioritized reading over socializing. As he got older, he became more interested in learning how to make money. He started off reading books about the subject until he decided that he was ready to start his very own agency. In 2016, Iman decided to create IAG Media, which would assist companies with their promotions. He got his first clients rather quickly, and it would be the first time he made any real money. Iman would run Instagram accounts for the companies, as well as be in charge of creating posts. Now, he wasn't exactly making bank either, since he was only pulling $100 a week. Iman's promotion included creating 30 Instagram and Facebook posts, as well as 4 YouTube videos in a month. He did all of this for just minimum wage. Iman knew that he was working for way less than he should have been, but decided to go through with it. Deep down, he felt that this was the way to go and believed that hard work would eventually pay off. After 1 year of staying consistent with his agency, Iman had finally broken over $25,000 a month. This was a surreal moment for him, since only a year prior, he was making $400. Iman attributed the success to his mindset, since without that he wouldn't have stayed consistent. Though he made plenty of mistakes in his first year, he proved that it was possible to make this his career. With his newfound money, Iman decided that he would spend a little on himself and, of course, his mother. He bought himself his first house and took his mom on a trip to Paris. Iman was excited to have expendable money for the first time, but he also understood that this was just the beginning. At the age of 18, Iman began to outsource his agency. He now understood what was necessary to run one and could save himself a ton of time. He would use his extra time to focus on other projects, like his watch collection and any other business idea he wanted to try. He hired some of his first employees and by the end of 2018 was making $50,000 a month. Now Iman thought he finally found the formula to run his business, but he ended up running into some problems.
Everything was going well, but I really started to realize at that point that my retention at the agency, how long we were keeping clients, wasn't necessarily where I wanted it.
What he found was that even though he could secure clients, none of them would stick with him for the long term. While the high fees he charged were nice, he wanted something more secure. He discovered by that lowering how much he charged his clients, the more likely they were to book his service again. This would net Iman more money in the long term, instead of just his usual temporary high months. 2020 is where Iman really began changing his strategy. He was now signing 5-figure monthly retainers and securing massive deals. Iman reaped the benefits that came with building relationships with his clients. He got to the point where Iman solely focused on the kind of company he worked with versus how much the deal would actually make him. By the end of 2020, Iman had made around $1.5 million in profit. Seeing that his business was running on autopilot, Iman decided to start investing his money. He put a large chunk into watches, since that was his hobby, and the rest into crypto. Iman was able to capitalize on the recent bull market and came out with a $7 million portfolio. While on the surface it appeared everything was going well for Iman, that wasn't actually the case.
It was summer of 2020. I had a horrible 6-8 weeks period where I was genuinely properly suicidal, right? I was to the point of considering, because there's a difference between oh, I think I might kill myself, compared to how am I going to? Once you start getting to the how and the specifics of it, then it's, you're in sort of dangerous territory.
Despite the success and money Iman was able to acquire, his mental state took a huge hit. He was heavily depressed and it affected his overall productivity. He knew that he should be happy with all the money that he was making, but that didn't prevent him from feeling overwhelmed. If he wanted to get better, he knew he had to change his habits. He started with daily meditations and went back to reading a book every week. He kept this up for a few months, and slowly but surely, he regained his drive. Iman ended up moving to Dubai for tax purposes and for a change of scenery. His agency was also pulling over $100,000 with no shortage of new clients. Iman was satisfied with what he had accomplished and felt that he should share his story with the rest of the world. His YouTube channel now focuses on the success stories and how he runs his e-commerce agency. The one thing we can learn from him is that if you have an idea, you should go for it. Iman initially worked for a low wage with his customers, but only because he believed it would pay off in the long term. By taking his time and building his credibility first, he was able to move on to higher contracts. A positive attitude and a right state of mind was what allowed Iman to arrive to where he is today.
You act like you're here from the get-go, it's a lot better of a dynamic to start the meeting off in that way, start the conversation off in that way. Because as I said, they're playing at a high level, they've seen it all, they cut straight through that BS.
So, that's the end of today's video. If you want to see how I made my first few millions online, be sure to check out the first link in the description. Also, subscribe and comment below what YouTuber you want to see covered next on the channel.